What's up? Welcome back to another episode of GamerVice, ladies and gentlemen. Episode 31. I'm here, one of your co-hosts, Hank, with Kevin. Kevin, say hi to the people.
Hi to the people. I'm excited for this conversation that we're about to have. It's gonna be a fun topic to talk about.
It's gonna be a fun topic. Hopefully, we don't ramble on too much. But I think one of the very few times it's one topic. Okay. And it's one topic because it is all the gaming craze right now for those of you who are paying attention to what has gone down this week. And that is Pokemon. No, not Pokemon. I mean Palworld. But Palworld is a survival open world monster catching game and base builder. I guess, does that survival automatically go with base building? I don't know. But this game has sold over 7 million copies in only 5 days. Yes, they put these graphics up. I still haven't got down to the bottom of it. I don't know how much digging I gotta do. I don't know if these 7 million sold is incorporating the Game Pass downloads.
It's not.
Okay, so we do know that, because I was gonna say it also says sold. Like, Game Pass is not sold, so I wouldn't even understand how they would say that. So very, very, very impressive. Doesn't matter what kind of game it is. Doesn't matter. They sold 7 million copies. Kind of no-name developer coming out, and kind of plays along with our video earlier this month, the first video of the month that talked about January. We were sitting here stale talking about gaming, and this was one game we mentioned in that list, but we said, well, nothing comes out in January. And when we say nothing, we're like talking about big AAA titles, and we're just like, why don't developers try to take advantage of the time? Or even the AAA guys who have a good game is like, no one else comes out with games in January, then drop something. And here we are. This game has found itself at a time where it has blossomed. Kevin, what are your thoughts?
I think it's one of those things where I hear all the chatter, right? Obviously, you see all of the excitement around this game, but you're not blind to all of the negative that people have, around this game as well. People who say it's too close to Pokemon, or it's a Pokemon ripoff, or it's not this, or it is that, or plagiarism, AI, all this stuff. You see all of this, and I was thinking to myself, and I don't even know the answer to this. It might be a combination of this game came out at the right time, which that could be true. I don't think it's came out at the right time that it means 7 million people purchased it, and none of those people would buy it if it came out in, I don't know, like April or May or whatever, you know what I mean?
Oh, absolutely.
But it came out at the right time, and I was thinking to myself, if Pokemon, which is the game that everybody keeps referencing, if Pokemon didn't exist, never came out, would people still want to play this game? And I think that the answer is yes, because it still incorporates monster capturing and base building elements that we haven't seen before. Does it do it the best? Is it all running smoothly? No, it's early access. They have a lot of stuff to iron out. We'll talk about that in a little bit. But I just think that if Pokemon didn't exist, this still would be an intriguing concept enough that a lot of people would play it.
Yes.
And I think to myself, okay, well, the opposite conversation. Let's say people say, no, nobody, if Pokemon didn't come out, this game wouldn't be that popular. Based on what?
Yeah.
You know what I mean?
Very true.
That's the thing. You can say that, you can argue that, but what are you basing that off of?
Yeah. It would have that. What's even, no, it's actually even more dangerous now that I'm thinking about it, because essentially, right, it's the Pokemon clone, and we're going to get into that because it's funny. I've only felt this way now because of all this stuff I'm seeing on social media and discussions between, peers. Like, if Pokemon didn't exist then, and then this came out, then this would essentially be the Pokemon and something that, oh my God, like this new style of game. But now it's, there's something still, it's similar to something else that's existed that we've all loved, but it did add a twist to it. Because this does not play the same as Pokemon. Anyone who's played Pokemon knows that this literally doesn't play like Pokemon. The comparison is that there's a ball, you capture these monsters, and the monsters there's a lot of monsters that look very similar to Pokemon, and no one's denying any of that. Like, okay, yes, they look alike. And I get it, but hopefully, I can get Kevin the picture here. And when we edit this, we're gonna right here. I'm gonna overlay to you a picture that I came across because Dragon Quest, an IP that existed before Pokemon, they literally put a side by side of one of those like 3x6 like graphs of 18 Pokemon, and they put the side by side. I actually didn't send this to you yet today.
I think I've seen it.
You've probably seen it.
Yeah.
It's actually kind of comical. So can we stop with this? And on top of that, how about every other game? If games didn't copy each other, we would not have the million game catalog that we have. Like, I don't know where this discuss, like, who came up with what and who can gatekeep what. Because again, if they were copying the whole, like, it's not even mechanically the same game.
Right.
The only thing similar is an art style of, and the monsters. And that you catch those monsters. It's not stop battling. You're not even telling the monsters what moves to make unless you're mounted on them or whatever. You yourself have guns and weapons. Like, you're freely moving. There's no stop screen going into like, no, you got 7 of them hitting you from different directions at all times. You got to be like, I don't even like it's insane to me. And I guess that's like the crew of also diehard Pokemon fans that have been in. Like, how are you mad at this game? If anything, it's something else that, okay, if it's so much like it, then go play it. Because if all you do is play Pokemon games every year, it's like, oh, I'm sure you're gonna have time to play something else then. So I don't know. It's like it's a weird thing, man. Now, like, this is one of those things where some actually had success. And now we're finding ways to shit on the success or trying to find ways to discredit it. No, they did some crazy stuff, which Kevin's gonna let you know. Yeah.
Well, the other thing that's kind of interesting is that to your point, if you're a Pokemon fan, you cannot be happy with the last 2-3 iterations, the 2-3 games of what Game Freak and Nintendo have put out for Pokemon. They've been buggy on the Switch. The Switch is a hardware that is showing its age. It doesn't even run at like the 30 FPS that typical games on the Switch run on or at. It's not a polished game like it should be. And if you're looking at it from a point of this is a Pokemon ripoff, well, okay, but this Pokemon ripoff is doing a better job at being Pokemon than Pokemon is. If that's your argument.
Yeah. Because that's actually a very good point. Because guess what? If anything, as a Pokemon fan, which I am, and I've played 90% of them. I don't think the last one I didn't play was the last one, Scarlet and whatever, and the one before Violet. Legends of Arceus. Yeah. So I literally 2 Pokemon games I have not played. But if anything, this makes me pissed because once I also saw a little bit of Legends, it's like, ooh, kind of like what we've been waiting for, but they still didn't fully go into it. What else is Pokemon? Oh, the one that's so known for doing this. Oh, you mean the billion-dollar corporation, I'm sure, that Pokemon is? Oh, and you guys are being late. You know what? And me being an iPhone user, I'm going all over the place right now, right? It's like we know, ooh, Apple has these phones, but like they come out with new ones and it's like they add like one little bit so we can keep buying them. That's like what, like Pokemon's just been complacent. They've been sitting pretty. No one's threatened that style of game. And I mean, Temtem has honestly done a good job of that too. But like, no, if anything, what does this do? The same thing we talk about sports and all that. No, competition makes better products. So it's actually good that this is on the market and hopefully it lights a fire under Pokemon's ass. But also, it's not Pokemon because maybe Pokemon doesn't want to make a game where it's like this open world. Like, that's not their intentions. Who knows? It is not the same game. And I don't want to hear that or see it on social media, but it is what it is.
Yeah, there's a couple things. So going back to what I originally said, if Pokemon didn't exist, well, there was still the Dragon Quest, there was still the Monster Rancher, there was still the Digimon, there's still the Temtem, there's still the Cassette Beasts. There's still these other games that are monster capturing games. I understand that they're not at the popularity that Pokemon is, but that doesn't mean that this game doesn't deserve a chance to exist and grow and flourish into the game that it's supposed to be. If you look at their roadmap, which we'll get to in a minute, but their roadmap adds other layers on top of the already different mechanics that it has from Pokemon.
Yeah.
So again, it's just a weird thing to be like, oh, but Pokemon. Well,
Nah, you know it. Yeah.
but
And I
but
know
okay,
what it
but
is.
what about that your character can die? Oh, but Pokemon.
Yeah.
But what about the fact that I gotta level up my character to be able to unlock stuff for the base? Oh, but
Oh.
Pokemon. But I
Uh,
just it's just weird. It's just a
oh, the
weird.
fact that you have to craft everything you're using. Literally, it's a crafting game. So, oh, I have to craft things. Oh, I have stat points that go into my player as well. Like, it's actually mind-boggling, and I'm starting to get it as I'm looking over here at this. The argument is with them is, I guess, how close the Pokemon, like how close the POWs resemble the Pokemon, which I get it. And then there's been people that now the whole 3D rendering and overlaying them, and then the guy literally came out and said, "Yeah, I also manipulated them," which is like, great, dude. Like this is literally what happens with media. It's like the false media, like the stuff you put out there, and then the grass, like you get people so fired up about something, and then they start going off, and it's like, that wasn't even fully true. But the only anger is that they look so similar, and then it's like, oh my god, you copied someone's art. But at the same time, they look very similar, and guess what? They look very, very similar. But are they the same? I'm sorry, they're not. And again, all these other and again, we're not even going to talk about Pokemon already. We're going to be able to show you a graphic. They literally copied people back in the day, but it's because it was back in the day. No one's thinking about it. But
Yeah, the social media wasn't around.
yeah, exactly. It wasn't around because those are literally the same kind of like, oh my God, they look so similar, but they're not the same. It's almost, honestly, you could do the same comparison one-to-one. Like the way people are comparing Power to Pokemon, you could do that with Pokemon to Dragon Quest.
To Dragon
But
Quest.
also, like, then people want to talk about the element types and, using element type. Temtem does it. I don't need, like, that's like, there's only so much you can come up with. Like, yes, somebody does something first, but like, then it's how other people change it, alter it, make it theirs. You know what I mean? And I don't know. It's just a weird space to live in. To like you're just mad that like to be mad that it's being successful. It's just weird.
All I'll say is, if you don't like the game, then that's fine. If it's a matter of waiting until now, again, this is something that I've seen being brought up multiple times. I've read it a lot, and I understand this part, which is part of it is they're like, oh, but the development that made Palworld, they blatantly took the Pokemon. They just plagiarized it one for one. And if that comes out as true, then I understand why some may want to boycott the game. But if it's just the similarities, then it's weird energy that you, just because it's similar, now you want to boycott this game, when I'm sure there are games that you've played, not you, Crunky, but like
no,
you,
you're saying
the person
people
listening, the people have played that plagiarize, quote unquote, I should say, plagiarize or have similarities of an older game. If you've played Minecraft, then Valheim is just a different art style of Minecraft, or you know what I mean, something along those lines. Where you boycott all those other games, or you're gonna say, oh well, they added different elements, that's why it's okay? Well, if you've ever played a Pokemon game, then you know that there's a lot of elements in Palworld that are not in Pokemon. So it's just a weird thing where it's like you are trying to not give the benefit of the doubt to play an interesting mashup of concepts in this game just for the sake of I don't know what.
And this has nothing to do with the game being the best game ever. It's literally a really good game that people kind of wanted based off of their like for Digimon or Pokemon, whatever it is, and now adding another element to it, or also picking a genre that is what seems to be the popular genre, survival / base building in the year 2024, end of 2023.
Yep.
So I don't like, it was inevitable. Whether they did it, someone else was going to do it, I think, at this point. And to your point, exactly. The only reason it's like you could see, it's like, okay, you might boycott it, and then you're in the right, is if it's actually officially proven that there was like some, like the plagiarism of like, ooh, the powers of the Pokemon were lazy, we're going to plagiarize that. You're within your right. If it's proven, not all the allegations or everyone saying, "Oh, we found out that." No. When it's legit SmackDown paper going to court, like proven on paper. Like other than that, just odd. With that being said, again, because it wasn't your regular free to play game, and we're talking about these high numbers and all that. No. $30, a decent amount of price. 20, you usually get people like, okay, it's an easier buy. Anything under 20 is definitely an easier buy. But 30s where you're like, okay, you like, I would think people like want to think about it, or it's like, yo, I'm spending 30, like I better like this or play it. So 7 million copies, $30. It had broke 2 million all-time concurrent player peak on Steam. And now on Steam, we can see all the Steams that have been on that Steam platform. Only one game has done it better. Okay, and that's PUBG. Not
Crazy.
even Steam's own number one esport, CSGO. Not even that has had 2 million concurrent players. Okay, so it's beat the likes of Elder, and we're just giving numbers. We're just saying the concurrent player count, people clearly playing it. And last time I checked, I don't know, you don't sit on something and it's sat over 1 million, mind you, for the 5 days. So that alone sat over 1 million. It'd be Elden Ring and all these. So over these 5 days, it sat over 1 million. But let's just say the highest 2 million. I don't know how 2 million people are playing something that's not fun. And last time I checked, you play games, if they're fun, they're good. Like, it's a good game, number one, and it's far from perfect. That's what is even more hopeful, because now you got all this money. Hopefully they do the right thing. And what I mean by that is that they build on it, because clearly people want to stay. So now the ball is in their court again. And it's, hey, are you going to develop this game more? Because clearly the people like it. Now polish it and finish it, because you did give it the early access tag. So go ahead and make this thing a final product. That's how I feel.
And they do have to. So the other stat that I saw, or information that I saw, was that they've grossed roughly $200 million on a $7 million budget to make this game. So that just to me says, number one, obviously it just shows how popular it is, but also they have something here that they need to grow. They have to expand their development team, and they have to really work on this, and then they'll have a lot of longevity in this game. Obviously, to say that this game is going to have 2 million or 1 million people 4, 6, 10 months down the road is a lot to ask for. But just the simple fact that there's this many people interested in it now, they got to work on it. And there are things to work on. Like, for instance, I know that the base building needs to be worked on.
Yes. Now
the base building is pretty basic. It's pretty basic for.
They need to get corners involved,
right?
Edges, like it's very boxy right now.
Yeah.
And now they need to add that customization, freedom, better base building for sure.
I mean, even before that, they need to fix the servers, because the memory leaks on the servers, it's bad. It's bad news. That's the one thing that is gonna really crap on their parade, is if they just leave these servers to have these memory leaks. Because the one thing I've seen from streamers that I've jumped in to see how they're playing Palworld is that some of them have issues with the lagginess, and I think that part of it obviously has to do with the internet and stuff, and how powerful the server is, but part of it has to do with just the server optimization and those memory leaks that they have.
Yeah, not even just streamer. I mean, I'm in the Discord for the dedicated server that we have going, GTX, and I'm in the Discord server Power. You see it, just these all regular everyday people that have dedicated servers. Like, that is the big argument, So it's not just even like, your content. That's a thing that people do with these kind of games. They get their dedicated servers. So hopefully they can fix that memory leak, for sure. And one other thing I love about this game that I don't think we mentioned about other games, and I also think kind of has to do with the fun aspect of it and the 7 million sold copies and the peak player count, is talk about a game. Now, I'm sure other games do this, but talk about a game that literally lets you manipulate the difficulty sliders and says, here's our presets. Go play how you want, though, for real. Hey, manipulate it. Play your way. So you play how you want to play to have fun. Honestly, I feel like that's another big factor that we aren't hitting on. And also, I feel like it's a big thing that from the people who do content, and I'll see it, I don't even think they're using that part as much. But we used it. We got our own little, thing to make it fun for us. Like there's aspects we don't like in a game that's like, oh yeah, I want survival, but I also don't need the hassle of like every 5 minutes being hungry because at the same time, I do like the realism, and in realism, I'm also not going to be hungry every 5 minutes. So I also know the time's going faster. But like that is great. It's almost like, yo, here's this game too, and play how you want. Go ahead, manipulate how you want, do it your way, and that shit's
Yeah.
awesome.
Yeah, that that aspect is actually something that's very arc-like. It's something
Yeah.
again. It's another game that a lot of people reference
Okay, the
Palworld
arc
to. It's like
reference, so that's
the
like it.
the Pokemon is like the monster capturing, and the arc is more like the base building exploration type of. That's what people compare it to. I actually read something. It's kind of interesting referencing Pokemon. I read something that was like Palworld is if you were playing as Team Rocket and you were enslaving all the Pokemon, and
Yeah,
that's actually hilarious.
that's great. That is awesome.
Um,
Oh man.
so looking at the roadmap for what's ahead, first of all, right off the bat, before we even talk about what's on this graphic, I don't like the fact that this is not an actual roadmap. Like you don't see what they're working on first.
Yeah.
You don't necessarily see when things are going to come out. They don't put any time frame at all. I'm not exactly happy about that. But the one thing that really sticks out to me is that there's no PlayStation implementation for Palworld on this roadmap at all. I
Yeah.
kind of find that interesting because,
Oh my
especially this
god.
generation,
And like, I'm sorry. It's just these realizations coming to me too. It's like not. It's just like, yo, give this shit its respect. Like it's not even on PlayStation, and it got 7. So now that's a whole nother console set that can't even buy it. Oh my god,
yeah.
it's just crazy.
So out of the four, if you count PC as a console, out of the four, it's only on two
Yeah.
because it's not on Switch and it's not on PlayStation. And there's no plans according to, if you're just looking at this roadmap, you figure this roadmap's probably the next 6 months, I would say at least,
Yeah.
worth
They
of their
did.
updates.
This is a very early access roadmap. They couldn't even give us
Yeah.
the months.
Yeah,
Nah,
but
man. There's stuff they gotta fix for sure. You guys they're not in the clear yet. It's just, hey, handshake. Good job on dropping this bad boy. It's literally been a week from the time it is. It's literally gonna be a week.
that's
Right. It's a
crazy.
week today. Yeah.
And I
So
just checked while you were talking, and right now concurrently there's still over 1 million. So like you said, it has never. I don't think it's ever gone lower
really
than dropped lower than 1 million since it crossed that threshold. I think it's a good game, man. I mean, I like the
No,
game.
it's a good game. It's a good game. We're not arguing. It's a good game. It's a good game if you're somebody who would enjoy that kind of game. Like if you know you don't like this style of game, then obviously, like then what are we even talking about? We've talked on this channel a million times about reviews and all this and how. No, if you like this style of game, you should know already as a gamer what you kind of like. If you see this and you've watched gameplay and it piques your interest, like I think that's something I would like, then I think you would like it. So yes, like it's a good game. If you don't care for this kind of game, then no, don't play it.
Yeah. And obviously take a look, if you're worried about the early access thing, take a look at what they have coming up in their roadmap. Look at the graphic here. Take a look at what they have on the roadmap to see if it's something that you'll go, okay, well, I don't want to test it because it's still early access, but maybe 4 or 6 months down the road, keep it in mind that this game is coming out and they're going to have raid bosses for the end game content, or they're going to have PvP so that you can fight
in the arena. Ooh,
Yeah, so you can fight,
that sounds like fun now.
Yeah, so it's very interesting. It's and the crazy thing is, I know that I've put in over 20 hours, 25 hours, something along those lines. I know you're somewhere around there too.
Yep.
We still haven't. I think we're, as far as leveling, we're only like halfway ish.
Yeah. We're a little bit over.
I don't think we haven't done any breeding.
Yeah.
And we've only beat the tutorial boss.
Yeah, so there's 4 bosses.
There's 4 more bosses.
You're right, we gotta go find that boss. Let's do that right after this. Let's go.
Yeah, let's do it now. Let's do it now.
Yeah. Oh man, but yeah, you might even catch another stream. I know we streamed the day 1. That's kind of what we did last week for an episode. We fell behind and we wanted to play some Palworld because we were actually waiting for it, and it actually turned out to be, I guess, better than expected. I didn't think it was gonna be like as fun. Like I just am enjoying it, and ain't nothing wrong with that.
Yep.
So
That's it.
I like what I like. It is what it is. But honestly, man, put it this way. Again, I don't know. I just don't understand how you can knock something that's done what one other game is done. Like, I don't know. It's just hilarious. But the people have spoke. Numbers don't lie when it comes to this, I guess. Like, numbers don't lie. Let us know what you guys think about Palworld. If you're just gonna be like mad about the Pokemon stuff, honestly, like go ahead and comment it. But I'm gonna ignore those comments. We're not. That's not what we're doing here. Because we could do that with so many games, and that's just my personal opinion.
No, it's true. It's true.
And then, yeah, that's just how I'm saying. Like, go ahead, comment though. Yes, if you disagree with us, comment. Go ahead. Don't like the video. Share the video though. Get it going. I don't care. You know what I'm saying? But I hope you guys enjoyed the video. That's all I can say. Kevin, any words for the folks as we close this bad boy?
Go enjoy some Palworld. That's what I gotta say.
Paid sponsor, Palworld. No, I'm just kidding.
Yeah, all right. Pocket pair. Hit us up.
But without further ado, man, you already know what it is. It's GAMERViCE giving you all the vice you need. Palworld, go get that crossplay up so I can get some of my other pals in here. See what I did there? But you guys have a good one, man. Take it easy. Peace.
Peace.